back, and thank you for joining us for another webisode of the Hit Squad. I'm Chad Range, he's Jesse Finney. And as the world turns, I tell you what, the controversy continues to spark. We'll get to that in a moment. Of course, this segment brought to you by Shamrock Fighting Championships, home of St. Louis professional mixed martial arts. There's no controversy there. There is in the UFC. And there seems to be every time we get together, and it seems to be on these big fights. And I mean, there's no doubt what I'm talking about.
Right. I agree with you. You know what? This is what makes good TV is controversy. But at the same time, you know what? This is true controversy. We're not making stuff up to make you listen.
No.
This is true.
Yeah.
Read the headlines. Read everything you want. Because, man, I tell you something. Dana White is pissed off.
Oh,
he's pissed off, and he wants to see change, and he's calling for the governor of Nevada to make a change.
But the Nevada State Athletic Commission, NSAC, sees no cause or concern with the scoring of the George St-Pierre fight against Johnny Hendricks. Of course, Johnny Hendricks, I think if you ask anybody, if you look at the tape, he was the winner. If you talk to Dana White, he was the winner. And this is happening more and more. And I said this, and I know you hate it, and I mean, I am beginning to too. But if you're a challenger taking on a champion, you better leave no doubt.
Boy, oh boy.
You better, I mean, if it goes to the cards, you better just chalk it up, you're losing.
I disagree. I
it
100%
shouldn't be that way, but it is. I don't know how you can disagree.
No, I do agree with that.
Okay,
I do agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't agree that you got to beat the champ to be the champ, but it sure seems that way as of late.
Oh,
okay?
absolutely.
As much as it pains me to say that, is because you know what? You need to educate yourself, judges.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, okay, and I'm going to throw everybody for a spin here. I think GSP won the fight.
Really?
I think he
so
lost
you think
the
they
fight.
Got it right?
I think he lost the fight, okay?
All right.
But I think that he won per rounds, okay? And here's the thing you got to go to, man. If you watch, guys, and you got to watch each round, round by round, okay? I watched it live, okay? But at the same time, I haven't back to watch it again. I gave GSP rounds 3 and 5, okay? Rounds 2 and 4 went to Johnny, okay? I thought it was pretty decisive with all that.
All right.
It goes down to round 1, okay? And you watch that fight, and you tell me who won round 1, okay? And I tell you something. Yes, I do think that actually Johnny probably won that first round barely.
Okay.
Barely, okay? But you can't go in a split, you can't say, oh, this is a ripoff and this is just complete joke. I disagree, okay? Because any which way that, if it's a 48-47, 47-48, which they were, okay, that's a damn close fight.
Oh, absolutely.
And to throw a big hissy fit like this, I think it's unnecessary. I think that, like I said, if you watch the fight, Johnny won the whole big picture fight. But if you score round by round, okay, I actually think the GSP won the fight.
So they got it right.
I think so. Now, I would like to go back and watch the fight again. And I know that a lot of people disagree with me on this. And I've had a lot of people to agree with me. Okay, but I also say this, is I think that if the fight comes down to round 1. It comes down to round 1, okay, because 3 and 5 went to GSP, 2 and 4 went to Johnny. And it goes down to round 1. Watch round 1. You tell me who you think won the fight.
Well, Dana White says Hendricks versus GSP rematch is on the way. Obviously, there was a lot of GSP, I need some time away. And if he fights again, I would say that would probably be the fight he's going to get.
I agree with you, but Chad, think about this. If it's on the way, okay? GSP fought twice last year. He fought in March and he fought in November. And he's going to probably, in March and November, and it says it's on its way. Is it the end of next year? Does Johnny Hendricks want to sit out for a year? You know, those are things you got to think about. Does Johnny Hendricks want to sit out for a year? Is it possibly longer for a year? Or does Johnny Hendricks step up and say, you know what, I want to fight somebody else because I want to make a damn payday?
Well, I'm sure, yeah. I think GSP's next fight will be Johnny Hendricks.
I agree with you.
I can't guarantee Johnny Hendricks' next fight will be GSP.
Boy, if I was the matchmaker, I got all kinds of good ones.
Well, right, yeah.
That would be, it's
absolutely.
awesome.
Well, okay, and I just kind of want to, and then, you know, kind of to tail on what you were saying before. Why do you think Dana's throwing such a hissy fit?
You know, I don't know. And usually with a lot of things like this, I disagree. I agree with him. And in this one, I completely disagree. I think that he needs to go back and watch the fight per round, guys. And you know what? For you out there that don't know how to score fights per round.
We've talked about that.
The winner gets a 10 of each round. The loser gets a 9 of each round. There are 10-8s. Okay, where the loser gets an 8, but it's got to be a pretty damn lopsided score. Okay, I most likely, those were all 10-9 scores, 58 or 48, 47. So the winner gets 10, the loser gets 9. So if you look at it like this, Chad, and you go back and you score it point by point and round by round, who won each round, you know what? In a 48-47, I don't care who it is, you cannot throw a big hissy fit. It's a close fight. It is a close fight. So it's not like someone got highway robbery. I disagree. I don't think it was highway robbery. You know, I think that it could have gone each way. And if it had went to Johnny, I'd have said, okay. If it had went to George, okay. The same way with Robbie Lawler and Roy McDonald. I thought, okay. You know, I thought that Robbie won the fight. But if it had went to Rory, I would have said, okay. Well, you know, I fully respect and understand that.
Okay, absolutely. We'll move on. We'll get into this stuff a little bit more, but I do want to talk about Tyron Woodley. Boy, you want to talk a guy who's been on the scene, but who announced his presence with authority. Knockout of the night, possibly knocking Josh Koscheck straight out of the UFC. Who knows? We'll see. But the real story there is Tyron.
Wow.
Yes. How about him?
What a right hand. And I'm happy as hell for him.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of him. I keep doing what you're doing, Tyron, and knocking guys out. Man, you got dynamite in your hands. We've all known that for years, and now you're getting a chance to show it. Obviously, you're one of the best athletes in the UFC. I will say probably the best athlete in the UFC. Okay, and I think that now with his wrestling, which we all know is just unbelievably awesome, man, he's a threat. He's a threat out there, boys. And you know what? If you're not on the Tyron Woodley bandwagon, you might as well start jumping on.
Absolutely.
You like him or hate him. I love him, but there's a lot of people that don't like him, and it's called jealousy. Okay, and here's the deal, man. Get rolling. Get on that train if you're not on it.
That makes for, you want to be that guy. You want to be the guy that they love or they hate.
Right.
If you're lukewarm, it just doesn't seem to catch on for you. Tyron is here, and I think he's here to stay. Something that people are throwing around, Rick Story versus Tyron Woodley. Thoughts on that fight?
I think that's a hell of a fight. Rick Story's the only guy to beat Johnny Hendricks besides GSP on Saturday night. He hits like a truck. He can't wrestle like Tyron. I think it's a pretty good win for Tyron. I think that it will really put him on the map even more. But I think that Tyron Woodley's got a bigger name than Rick Story. Yes. Yeah. Maybe that's just here locally, I say that. But at the same time, Story's also a guy that beat Johnny Hendricks, so he's got a lot of clout behind him. Man, I would love to see, and this isn't going to happen anytime soon, I'd love to see Robbie Lawler and Rick Story.
You're not a fan, though, of Robbie Lawler versus
Woodley.
Yeah.
I think Woodley, I would love to see it for Tyron's sake. I think Tyron absolutely dominates that fight. He dominates the fight. If you looked at Rory McDonald and you saw how easy Rory McDonald was taking down Robbie Lawler, okay, look at
the wrestling dominates.
Yes,
Yep.
The wrestling dominates, and you're going to try to tell me Tyron Woodley's not a better wrestler than Rory McDonald? Okay, so let's think about this. Tyron Woodley could lay on Robbie Lawler for 3 straight rounds if he really wanted to. I don't think that makes for an exciting fight.
No.
I think it's an actually easy, dominant win for Tyron Woodley.
Okay, but you got to do what you got to do to win.
Absolutely. And I think
do you think he'd stand and bang?
I think he would for a little bit, but I think that he can also take him down whenever he feels like it. And I think if he plays it smart, which he should, okay, and a lot of people probably disagree on that, but you know what? You're fighting for millions of dollars at this point.
Right. Yep.
You got to fight smarter, okay? And if he goes out there and he lays on Robbie Lawler and drops some elbows, he's going to win the damn fight.
Absolutely. Rashard Evan owns Chael Sonnen. Every time I go with Chael or against Chael, the guy just screws me. Either way, I mean, I don't know what it is. If I pick him, he loses. If I go against him, he wins. But he wants to return to 185 now.
He needs to return to the TV booth.
That's what I think.
I love it when he talks, man. He's the best. And you know what? Here's the thing, man. You've made your run. You're the best on TV there is. Write your ticket. But you know what? You can't tell somebody to get out when they're not out. And he doesn't feel like it. If he wants to go back, okay, go for it. My opinion, he needs to go back to stick with TV. He's a damn good fighter, but he's even better in the TV booth.
Absolutely. And Rashad, I mean, great win for him.
Great win for Rashad Evans. The man is back on the map.
Yep.
And that wasn't just a fight. That was in a win. That was pure domination.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't think he was going to make him look that bad. I did think that Rashad was going to win the fight, but I didn't think it was going to look like that.
But, and like you said, you would kind of think that maybe Chael would kind of see the writing on the wall and think, I might take the easy way out. Doesn't seem like he will, though.
He's a competitor.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to get someone to hang it up. Willie Mays ended up playing first base in the end of his career. It's tough to, Michael Jordan, we saw him out there, he couldn't give it up either. So Chael will not, and we'll see what happens. Dana White says his favorite UFC fight of all time, Diego Sanchez versus Gilbert Melendez, UFC 166, so it's a recent one. Some of your favorites?
Oh, that was actually obviously one of my favorites. I think that still to this day, it's Bonner and Griffin Bonner.
Yeah.
It's got to be because it put everything on the map for the UFC. I think that's my all-time favorite. Maybe it's just because it was the first time and it really did a lot for the sport.
Yep.
Overall, a better fight. This was a better fight. Diego Sanchez and Gilbert Melendez. You know, there's a lot of good fights to come, man. I mean, there's that 170 division in the UFC. I think we might have to find a new favorite fight after this all plays itself out.
Absolutely. And you can never go wrong. Matt Hughes, Frank Trigg, UFC
Awesome.
152. When Anderson Silva beat Rich Franklin. They had a good one. I tell you what, one of my all-time favorites is talking about Chael and Anderson Silva. It was a fight that it looked like that was going to be his first, real big loss there. And then, Anderson pulls it out in the end. It was fun. But I know it wasn't, it goes probably not greatest fights, but definitely one I'll always remember was in the beginning. This is way old school. We were in the fraternity house. We had just got it, 1996, Gary Goodridge elbowing Paul Ferrara. I remember being like, whoa. I mean, that wasn't like a great fight, but that goes for the greatest knockouts. But I got to give that one up there because when I think of the UFC, that's always the image that comes right to my mind. Well, coming up next, we're going to have a great interview. Andrew Sanchez with the Resurrection Fighting Alliance. That'll be going on here. You're watching 101sports.com.